Good evening. Welcome to Yoga for Love. I will be working with you today. I'm Lisa Ware, and today we're going to be doing fun, fit, and flow of Vinyasa style yoga. So you're going to need 2 blocks and a strap. Go ahead and grab some water. Make sure your water's not too cold so it doesn't reduce down your body temperature too quickly as you'll be heating up in your practice. And make sure that you have something to sit on if you'd like to elevate your hips, like a mat, a bolster, or a block. And so go ahead and get everything set up and come back and join us. Thank you. Welcome. Hey y'all. Good to see you. So we're going to go ahead and get started our easy seated today. So go ahead and find your easy seated posture. Relax your shoulders. Relax your belly. And if you want to sit on something, you can use bolsters or blankets. We have some up here if anybody would like one. Just up here and grab one. There you go. So this is going to help to elevate your hips. Would you, can I get you a blanket?
That'd be great. Thank you.
Yes. Thanks, Mary.
Thank you.
All right.
Did you want? Yes.
So you want to just sit on the folded edge where it's a little bit firmer, and then just kind of ground yourself down. You can also use a little small bolster like that, or a pillow that you might have. And so you want your knees to be below your hips or level with your hips. If your knees sit up really high, you can take a second blanket or another block and sit on that to elevate your hips, so that way your knees can relax down below your hips. And that's going to really help to relax and settle your pelvis to kind of tip where it's balanced from forward to backward. A lot of times when we sit, if we're sitting really high, we're rounding like this and we just can't really relax, or we might be kicking our tailbone out too much and not really grounding down and then rooting down through our tailbone. So go ahead and just find a seated posture where your hips are just nice and balanced. Then we're just going to take our palms open onto our lap, relax the shoulders, and just breathe in and out through the nose. Just cup the palms open into that symbol of receiving. Let your tailbone settle down. Let your belly begin to relax as you breathe. Feel your belly expanding and contracting. Feel the ribs pulling up and out, pulling the diaphragm down, creating more space in your lungs. And then just relax your mind. Quieting your mind, whatever's on your mind. Just leave that off of your mat. This is your own personal space, your own sacred time for yourself. So I invite you to leave whatever you need to leave off of your mat. You're welcome to pick it back up right after your class, or you're welcome just to let it go. My little hashtag, let that shit go. Excuse me, that's just one of the things. I just love it. One of my students gave me a coffee mug that says that, and I was like, oh, that's awesome. But you know, we just want to leave it off the mat. So just whatever you brought from work or whatever you brought from your stuff, just begin to just let that dissipate and soften. Do a couple more breaths here, just relaxing with our own natural breath. Let's go ahead and move into alternate nostril breaths. We're going to take our right hand. We're going to not use the first and second finger. So we're just going to curl the index and the middle finger down into our palm. We're going to make our little hand to nose mudra, so it just looks like that. We're going to close off the right nostril with the right thumb. Lift the ribs up and out by opening the elbow. And breathe in. And then exhale, we're just going to slide our elbow kind of out to the side, keeping the ribs open. We're going to close off the nostril and breathe out. Using your ring finger. Breathe in the same side. So your belly is nice and full. And then close off and exhale. Inhale on the same side. Exhale, switch. So just continue this cycle for a few more breaths. Nice full breath in. Switch on your exhales. One more time through the left and out to the right. And then just coming back to your natural breath and just notice how that relaxes you. Maybe roll the shoulders open and shake them out a little bit. We're going to do some shoulder shrugs just to release tension. So just let your fingertips just drop down. You're going to kind of make a little tent with your hands next to your mat. Just kind of let the hands reach out wide. We're going to inhale, shrug, squeeze, and then exhale, drop. With an exhale through the mouth. Inhale, shrug, and drop. Do a couple more cycles here. Inhale, and drop it out. Just really exaggerate your movement. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze as you breathe in. One more. And just coming back to center. Let's just roll the shoulders. And then the other way. You might hear a little, I call it Rice Krispies, little snap, crackle, pop going on in there. Especially if you do a lot of typing or if you're doing a lot of driving or a lot of texting on your phone a lot. And that helps a lot to release that. I also invite you to regularly turn your phone on airplane or completely off, giving your whole energy field a break from all that bombardment of energy that you get from your phone and your technology. Turn your Wi-Fi off in your house and just kind of reset, give yourself a break. So let's go ahead and make our way into child's pose. And speaking of, you also, during your practice, I recommend just taking your Fitbits and all the Wi-Fi stuff off of your body. And then you can always log your practice later. But that gives your energy field a nice reset, a nice break from all that stuff. Your Apple Watch and all that, take that off. Okay, let's go ahead and sit back. Reach your hips towards your heels and reach your hands forward. And then just let your head drop. Relax your forehead. Now if your forehead still has a lot of room between your forehead and the ground, what you'd like to do is maybe take a little block or another blanket and then just stack that underneath. Or you could just take your hands and just stack your hands and reach your head down onto your hands so that your head is completely supported. Close your eyes and just gently rock your hips from side to side. So you're just swaying side to side, relaxing the body. Let your head just melt. You'd like to reach the arms forward and begin to stretch a little further, extending your child's pose. Again, you're supporting the hips. You can tuck that blanket underneath the hips there to give yourself a little bit more support. You can also unfold your blanket and just lay it long and skinny across both your calves so you have a little bit more room. And then just find a comfortable place for the arms. Deep, full breath here. If your head is turned to one side, go ahead and switch it the other way. And then you'd like to maybe wrap your arms around your body, bring your hands down by your ankles, and turn your head. Let your elbows drop out to the ground. Widen the knees to make plenty of space for your torso to drop down between your legs. And then just gently, softly rock. Side to side. And breathe. Go ahead and reach forward. Come on up into all fours. Move any props that you have used out to the side. We're going to come into cat and cow breath. So make your fingers nice and wide. Knees below the hips. Hands right beneath your armpits. And then on the inhale, we're going to drop the ribs down. Lift the tailbone up. Lift the shoulders open. Opening through the collarbones. Big breath into cow. Exhale through the nose. Round the back. Pull your tailbone underneath you. Tuck your belly button up and look underneath your body all the way at your navel. Inhaling into cow. And then just roll the shoulders and the hips side to side to side. And then exhaling into cat. Inhaling into cow. And exhaling into cat. You want to get enough movement through your spine so you're articulating each little vertebrae. As you exhale, you're squeezing out and creating some space in that lower back. As you inhale, you're creating some space in your collarbones and squeeze those shoulder blades together. Do a couple more cycles. Make sure your fingers are also grounded, what we call hastamanas. The fingers are wide, right underneath your armpits on your mat. So we're binding our hands into our mat, into the earth. Back to your child's pose. So you can use your props here. You can widen the knees more to give yourself a little more space as you rest down. Let your belly drop. Let your arms relax. Let your head rest. And just breathe here. Find a comfortable place for your arms. You may choose to wrap your arms again around your knees to see if that maybe helps the shoulders to relax a little more. And just breathe here. Make sure you're breathing deeply into the back of your body, all the way into your kidneys. Gaze is soft or the eyes are closed. Just melting into the earth. Reach forward, come on up, into all fours again. If you have blocks next to you, you're going to grab your blocks. Otherwise, you're just going to step your hands forward. Right foot's going to step forward. And if you're using blocks, just grab them and bring them straight down beneath your. If you're joining us online too, you can use kettlebells or you can use weights, just regular, weights that you hold on to instead of blocks. Slide your left knee back and then bring your hands, again, you don't want them outside your mat, just right down, straight beneath your shoulders. Notice where your knee is real quick. So sometimes you're right here and then we're pushing a lot of pressure into the knee joint. So go ahead and step your foot all the way forward so it's directly underneath your knee. And then slide that left knee back. We're beginning to open that hip. And breathe. Now, a lot of times I see people just drop their head here, but we really want to energize. So you see this line of energy from the knee to the hip to the shoulder. We want to continue that line of prana up through the crown of our head toward the heavens at that 45-degree angle. So we're drawing energy up through the heavens, down through the crown of the head, through the hip, down into the earth. And we're also pulling energy up from the earth, through our body, through the crown of the head. So these are the directions of energy. We're breathing into this space, we're creating the body. 2 or 3 more breaths here. Just relaxing and opening into that hip. Maybe slide that left knee back just a touch. Let's go ahead and step both knees back. And then we're going to drop those blocks flat or just move them out to the side. And come into kneeling planks. We're pulling the hips forward. We're no longer in a tabletop box position. And we're not letting the belly button drop down, so we're just pulling the belly in, using our core strength. You can use your toes and come into full plank if you like. 3, 2, 1. Let's drop the knees. Come back into all fours, and this time we're going to go ahead and step the right foot forward, or excuse me, left foot forward. Now again, just bring your heel underneath the knee, grab your blocks if you're using them, or whatever props you're using, and then slide that right knee back. So again, a lot of times we're here, where the knee is way up here, but the heel's way back there. So you want to bring your foot forward. If it kind of gets stuck, just grab your foot and just kind of tell it what to do. And then just set it down. So you're kind of making an L shape here, a 90-degree angle. Now you don't want a 90-degree angle on your right hip, because if you're here, you're really not getting any hip opening. So you want to continue to push into your hands to your front foot and step that back knee back until you begin to feel something on the front of that right hip flexor. And breathe. Again, find that line of energy. When you begin to feel it in your practice instead of think about it, then you begin to feel that movement of prana, that movement of energy. So good, I can hear some of you using your ujjayi breath, so in and out through the nose. Deep belly breath through the nose. You can touch the tongue to the back of the teeth and relax the jaw. Still keep the lips closed and hear the breath move through that space in the back of the throat. Take one more big breath here, out the nose. And stepping back, either plank or kneeling plank, with or without your blocks, your choice. Breathing here. Belly button to spine, gazes forward. So if you find full plank and then you're out of form or your booty's up in the air, just go ahead and drop your knees. And that way you're going to have a lot better form in your plank. You're going to really get a lot more core control. If you're holding your full plank, push back through your heels, pull forward with the crown of your head. For 3, 2, go ahead and step your knees behind you, Monica. So you're not in all fours, you're in a plank. There you go. Last one. And come back to all fours. And we're going to go ahead and make our way into cat and cow. So just moving the hips and shoulders. And inhaling with your breath. Exhaling with your breath. Moving the hips and shoulders side to side. And just breathing into all those little spaces between the ribs. Those little muscles that stretch. Breathing into space between the vertebrae. And come back into your neutral spine, please. We're going to reach forward. Hands are going to be about shoulder distance. Tuck your toes under. Feet are going to also be about shoulder distance. And press back into an active child's pose this time. Reach back and you can peel your pinky toes out. So you have a little space there, spreading out your toes. And then pressing into the ball of your foot, reach forward with the palms of your hands. Nice, good. Make sure your elbows are off the ground, so you're stretching your arms nice and strong. That little inner point on your elbow, see if you can roll that little inner point on your elbow toward the sky. Arms are straight. Good, so that inside little curve on the inside of your elbow, push it up toward the sky. Other way, so there you, yes. Now you're pushing down with your fingertips. Your index finger and your thumb and your knuckles are connecting to the ground. Let your head relax here. It may or may not be on the ground. The next breath in, keep this shape. So we're pushing back through the hips. We're reaching forward with the hands. Using the core, we're pulling the tailbone up toward the sky. Let your head relax. Shake out your head. Shake out the neck and shoulders. We're just going to pedal the legs. Alternating, walking out the dog. Coming into your downward facing dog. Just relaxing the head, neck, and shoulders. Breathing here. Next breath in, let's reach our right foot up to the sky. Heel's gonna reach the sky, toes gonna reach the ground. Keep your hips level, and then bring it down. And then inhale, lift the left. Exhale, bring it down. Inhale, lift the right. Exhale, look between your hands. We're gonna step forward. Drop your left foot down, and using your arms last, rise up. Coming into warrior one, reach the sky. Big breath in here. Good. Relax your shoulders. Let's take butterfly arms. Spread out the fingers. Now notice if our butterfly arms, our elbows drop down low. So you want to keep the elbows wide. Spread out those fingers and gaze forward, eye level. Use your ujjayi breath. Let's reach up. Exhale, we're opening the hips and shoulders into warrior two, and we're going to deepen our stance. Turn your toes out a little bit longer on your mat. Good, so you're turning towards your right knee, right shoulder and right hand are all reaching forward. Notice if your right toes come in, so you want to bring them back to 12 o'clock. Settle down into the hips. Breathe here. For those of you that are more advanced practitioners, focus on leveling your hip bones and engaging your left glute, but lifting your right hip. If that's too much for you, just ignore all those cues. Breathe. Relax your shoulders a little more and reach. Lift the tips of your toes. We're going to ground down to the bones of your feet. Nice. Let's open the palms. Take your left hand, we're just going to reach around your left thigh and grab the little hamstring area, the little meaty part of your left thigh. Now notice we didn't straighten the right knee at all. We're still in our warrior stance, so the right knee is still over that ankle. Right palm is reaching forward and up. Keeping the same leg position, we're going to open up to the right ribs and reach up to the sky. Breathe here. So you notice I didn't lean myself back down to the ground because I'm not collapsing my left side. So this might be a different way for you to enter your warrior reverse. But we're lifting up and out through the left as well as opening through the right. Gaze up towards your right hand. If you feel any twinge in your neck, or if your neck seems tired or needs to relax, just look at your left foot. Come into a peaceful warrior gaze. Breathe. So inhale, look up. Use your root lock, squeezing your pelvic floor. Exhale, arms level with horizon back to warrior two. Inhale, turning hips and shoulders to face forward. Turn your back toes into about 10 o'clock. Come into your warrior one, arms reaching up and facing forward. 2 more breaths here. Virabhadrasana. Now notice how the shoulders are pinching up by the ears. Relax your elbows a little bit. Engage your fingers, nice and wide. Exhale, let's bring our hands to our heart. We're going to step both feet together at the top of our mat, pushing off that back foot. Calling into starting posture. Again, those of you that are on your mats, you might want to stagger your mat and stagger where you're at. So we're coming up to the very top of our mat. Hands are right at our heart center, and then we're not just kind of hanging out here. Our elbows are active. So this is a mudra. Mudras are really about creating an intention with your hands. It's like yoga with your hands. So this is Anjali Mudra, heart-centered mudra. And just breathing here. By bringing the toes to touch or close to it, bring the heels a little bit farther apart and then roll the inner thighs forward. Ground down through your femurs, ground down through your balls of your feet and your heels. Push the tailbone slightly down. And then lift up and out through your heart and through the crown of your head. This is Samastiti, steady and strong posture. Inhale, take the palms up. Crisscross your thumbs for a little stability. And then reach back and maybe let the head drop. Come into a little back bend. Tuck the chin, come back to heart center. Do that 2 more times. Inhale, reach up. If you'd like to use Vira Mudra, you can. Index fingers extend. Exhale back to Anjali Mudra. And one more time, inhale. Reach up, option for Vira Mudra. Exhaling back, just coming in as deep as you'd like in your back bending. Inhale, drop the hands down, reach up, bring the feet to about shoulder width. Exhale it out, coming into Tadasana, mountain pose. Just roll it up, relax those shoulders. All right, so you're feeling some of that infrared heat. You're probably starting to sweat a little bit. And the humidity level is really high, so I did not turn the heat all the way up to like we normally do, just because the humidity level intensifies your practice so much. So just relax your shoulders, soften through your toes. Find your focal point. We're gonna inhale, reach the sky. Big breath in and look up. And then exhale, arms wide and fold to the earth. Heart center leads, arms out. And then drop the backs of your hands to the ground and shake your head out. Let's just trail the fingers side to side. If they don't touch the ground, just grab opposite elbows, forming a little box around your face. And breathe here. Bend the knees. Inhale, reach up, and then come into chair. Arms can reach up or straight forward, or they can come back to Anjali Mudra. Begin to use your breath here to create some energy, to create some prana. So any arm position that you choose. 2 more breaths. You can reach all the way up if you'd like for that last breath. Exhale, sink a little lower. Inhale, come all the way up. Exhale to mountain pose. Inhale, reaching up. Exhale, hands come back to our heart. And again, feet together, back to starting posture. Inner thighs roll forward, shoulders relax, toes are spread out on the mat or slightly off the mat. Find your focused breath, Ujjayi breath, that breath of victory. Sounds like a whisper or a wave. Inhale, reach up. Option for your Vira Mudra as you take your back bend. Exhale to your heart. Now if you feel any twinge in your back at all, just do not use your arms. As you back bend, just either keep your chin in throat lock, or you can let the head drop. Exhale back. Option to add a reach. Going as deep as your back will allow without pushing it past its edge. Back to our center. Inhale, back to mountain pose. Exhale, relax the shoulders. Let's reach up to the sky, big breath in. Stepping that right foot back, come into your warrior 1. Exhale through the nose. Breath in here, let's take butterfly arms. Exhaling it out through the nose. So using that Ujjayi breath, in and out, that breath of victory. Remember to create a little space in the back of your mouth by not clenching your jaw, but the lips are closed. Let's reach up to the sky. On the exhale, we're opening hips and shoulders into warrior 2. And again, deepen your stance this time. So heel toe the right foot a little bit deeper down your mat. And we're just relaxing the arms, reaching out nice and wide, level with the horizon. Loosen your toes. And settle down into your legs. Beginners, just stay there, ignore what I'm saying. Advanced practitioners are going to just even out the hip bone. So a lot of times that left hip drops down. We're going to really lift up that left hip and drop into the stance. Engaging your right glute just enough to keep your pelvis level. Breathe into your belly. Let's turn our palms open. Focal point, that drishti, straight ahead, that single point in focus. Right hand's just going to rest around the inner thigh again. So we're just going to wrap the arm around. We can gaze down at the ground, or we can gaze up at the sky. Now make sure you don't come out of your stance and straighten your leg. You're still keeping that warrior stance. Left palm up, expanding and reaching into your reverse warrior. Breath here. Back to warrior two, arms, gazing forward. Breath in, breath out. Let's bring our hands to our heart. Turn the hips and shoulders forward and take a tiny step in where the back toes are at about 2 o'clock. Taking a warrior one stance and reach up. 2 more breaths here in warrior one, Virabhadrasana. Breath here, push off your back foot. Exhale, step to mountain pose. Feet shoulder width and flow with your breath. Inhaling up, coming all the way to the top of our mat. Exhaling, back to starting posture, hands at our heart center. Steady and strong. Roll those inner thighs slightly forward. So by bringing the feet together and the heels slightly apart, it creates a little space between the thighs. Pushing the inner thighs forward, it's going to help to ground you into your mat. Expand the crown of the head toward the sky. If you haven't done so yet, just take a moment to set your intention for your practice. Let's move that whole warrior series one more time, so a little bit faster, 1 breath per movement. So we're reaching up, palms together. Option for our mudra here, we're going to take our back bend. Exhale, back to our heart center. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, left foot back into warrior one. Breath in here, the heel drops onto the ground right behind the front heel. And then opening to warrior two, deepen your stance, turn the back toes out, hips and shoulders level with the long side of your mat. Taking left palm around the back of your left thigh, right hand to the sky, open and breathe into your reverse warrior, then exhale, flow right back into warrior two. We're going to add in a side angle. So again, check that your knee is still over your ankle and your toes are facing 12 o'clock. We're going to rest the bony flat part of our right arm onto the bony flat part of our right thigh. And then take that left hand up and all the way over past the top of your mat. Turn your pinky down. Palm is opening to the back of your mat, back of your body. Breathe here. Side angle. This is Parsvakonasana. Uttita means far reaching. So you're going to spread out the fingers. Uttita Parsvakonasana. Breathe here. Find a gaze somewhere up toward the sky, or maybe bring your gaze down toward the ground to find more balance. So inhale, reach up, come up, back to warrior two. Take a reverse warrior. Exhale, warrior two. Let's do that 2 more times. Inhale, reverse. And exhale, Virabhadrasana 2. Find your focal point one more time here. Reverse warrior to warrior two. With this body vinyasa. Turning your hips and shoulders. Reach up, come into warrior one. Breath in, and on your exhale, push off your back heel and step to mountain. Coming up to the very top of your mat, starting posture, feet together, hands at heart center. Setting your intention or reviewing your intention. Focal point is strong and steady, forward facing, reaching up. Take your back bend. Exhale back, Anjali Mudra. Inhale, stepping feet to about shoulder width. We're going to reach straight up, coming into far-reaching mountain pose. And stepping that right foot directly behind the left, coming into warrior one. Option for butterfly arms here. Anytime you bend the arms and you're not reaching as far, it takes a little bit of load off of your low back. So if you have any low back issues or lumbar issues, you can always bring your hands to your heart, or at least bring them down where the elbows are level with the shoulders, and just notice how that helps to give your back a little more love, a little bit more loving kindness, what we call metta. Sending that loving kindness to our back, to our legs, to our lungs. Reaching up. And we're just going to flow, opening into warrior two. Turn the back toes out, deepen your stance. Right palm comes up to the sky, reverse warrior. And then exhale back to warrior two, just a couple times through. Inhale, reverse. Exhale, Virabhadrasana 2. And inhale, reverse. And back to warrior two. Now we're coming into our side angle, Parsvakonasana again. Now this time we're taking our left forearm, we're going to reach the flat part, not our elbow, but the flat part of the bone, and you're going to set it right there on your femur. So take your elbow and scoot it back off of your leg, so you can really ground down to the flat part of your arm. And then we're going to reach that right palm up and all the way past your head toward the top of your mat. Turn the palm face down and spiral open through the shoulder, through the ribs. If you're advancing your practice, you can take your block or your hand right down on the inside edge of your back foot, and then maybe heel toe that right foot a little deeper down your mat. Breathe into your extended side angle. Use your root block. We're going to reach up, come up, move your props out, back to warrior two. Inhale, reverse warrior. This time we're going to windmill all the way down to our lunge. Turn your back heel, coming into a full lunge, runner's lunge here. Again, you can use your props if you'd like to use them for your practice. If not, just take your hands straight down beneath your shoulders. You can always drop that back knee. 2 more breaths in lunge. Moving our blocks out to the side, let's step back into either full plank or into kneeling plank. Now again, we're not stepping back into a box shape, but we're using that plank position where we're at a 45-degree angle, hips, shoulders, knees. Option to lift the knees and press back through the heels without compromising the shape of our posture. So if we're dropping the hips down, go ahead and bring the knees down and bring your belly button in. Go ahead and bring your knees down if you're in full plank. Breath in here, point your toes back. On our exhale, we're going to lower our heart center down, all the way to the mat, chin, then flatten yourself out. We'll move our props out to the side. Sweep the hands back by the hips, palms are turning up, feet are widening, toes turn out, and we're just gently resting on the chin or on the forehead, keeping the head in neutral, coming into your crocodile. Gently sway, relaxing from side to side. Notice if your shoulders and your elbows still haven't completely melted into the ground. Just kind of shake them out a little bit and let your hips sway your body. Just like you're propelling yourself through the water. You can even widen your feet a little bit more. Toes coming out to the outside edges of your mat or off your mat. Breathe here. Point your toes straight back. We're going to press back into child's pose. Then just relax the head. You can take any variation of your child's pose. Katrina, can you see what time it is for me? I'm on the wall by the armoire. Just breathe here. Feel free to hydrate. 7:44. If you'd like to come up into hero's pose, you're going to come up out of your child's pose, sit back onto the mat. So if in hero's pose your hips are high and it's like too much pressure on your knees, go ahead and grab your blanket or a block. set it between your feet. So we're not actually sitting on our feet in rock pose, but this is a different posture. This is Virasana. So you want the heels to be outside the hips, but we're not making a W like a dancer, like a little girl dancer. We're actually just sitting kind of in an even posture. You can also take 2 blocks even. And if that's too much, just come into stands on the knees. So any variation of Virasana that works for you today. If you're joining us online, grab pillows, whatever you need to make that happen comfortable for your hips. Breathe here. Ground down to the hands. The hands are resting on the quads, shoulders are relaxed, belly is soft. Come back into all fours. Again, remember to hydrate throughout your practice. Drink as much water as you need to, but again, like to ensure that it's not ice cold water. Since you're already heated and you're sweating, warm water or room temperature is great. So let's come into stands on knees. We're going to grab our blocks and set each of our blocks on the tallest end near the ankles. If you don't have blocks, we're just going to modify. So we're coming into camel, Ustrasana. And so here we're just going to come into an easy back bend. We're going to use throat walks. We're just tucking the chin to the chest. And as we do, we're just taking one hand, we're going to reach it back and around. We're going to make a little fist. Bring it right by the sacrum, right above the tailbone and beneath the top of the pelvis. Other hand back and around and make a fist. Keep the chin and throat walk. Now bring the knees about hips distance apart. And then begin to push the solar plexus up. So you're lifting up and out through the solar plexus, lifting to the sky. Hips are moving forward, but chin remains tucked. So we're still in throat lock. Relax your butt. Yeah, you might have to kind of pound it out a little bit and just stop. Stop, I got this. I don't need you glutes. The glutes tend to take over. So they're going to be active, but not like, clenching. Breathe, lift, 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 and really feel as much expansion as you can through the belly and the solar plexus. And then from here, if you want to tuck the toes for a little bit more balance, you can do that. You can reach back for your blocks, still remaining in your throat lock, or you can let the head drop back. Now for you, if you're advancing your practice and you've been practicing this for a while, then continue to pay attention. If you haven't, please ignore what I'm saying. And we're just going to reach back and grab our heels. You can stay in throat lock or you can let the head drop. If you want to continue to deepen, point the toes. Palms are going to be flat on the feet. Big breath. Tuck the chin. Fists back to the hips. Breathing here back to stands on knees. One more big breath here. Back to our camel. Any variation. So starting with the 2 fists, let's reach up and open, and then take the hands back and around. You can also take the fingertips, reaching the palms toward the sacrum. Fingertips can face up. I'm going to turn here this time. Or they can face down, or you can use your fists. Again, grab your props. My mat is a little slippery, so I'm going to use a blanket. And make sure you're all set up. As you begin moving into your camel, begin to start in your throat lock, Jalanda Harabandha. We're letting the energy come all the way up, and then we're just locking that energy by tucking the chin. So don't drop your head back too fast. Once you feel like you've really reached the peak of your camel here, let the head drop. If you'd like to tuck the chin back, that helps to give you a little bit more control with your posture, not so much of a deep back bend. Do that. You can also reach back for your blocks. You can reach back for your heels, or the palms can be all the way flat on the feet. So if you're deepening, you can move through those various stages. We'll be here for just a couple more breaths. Tuck the chin, come back to your stance on the knees. Move out your props. If you'd like to come into hero's pose, begin to take your prop that you were sitting on, put it between your feet, and just ground down to your tailbone. Breathe deeply here. Now begin to bring your focal point to the ground. We'll begin to move into Supta Virasana, reclining heroes. So if you're sitting on a prop, you may want to scoot the prop out, and if you can't reach the ground with your tailbone, you know you're probably not going to be reclining today, okay? So if that's too much, go ahead and put the prop back. Just stay right where you're at, okay? So now you kind of know where your edge is, right? So, and it varies. Next week may be totally different. So please try not to compare your practice to your practice last week or your neighbor. Just be present with what your body is doing today without any judgment. Now if you're on the ground with your tailbone flat, you can begin to move into Supta Virasana. So begin to just kind of slide your tailbone underneath you, move any props out, and begin to just walk your hands back. You may just come back a little bit. Chin tucks, maybe come back some more. If that is too much on your knees, go ahead and extend your right leg, bringing it into staff pose, and then you can come back a little further. Keep the chin and throat lock at first. Then you can come all the way back into your half heroes. If you had both knees back, you can come into your full heroes. So just kind of decide where you want to be. Make sure that the knees haven't gone wide into a big W. You're still in your hero's posture. Push your tailbone toward your heels so that you're softening that curvature at the low back. If the ribs are popping up really high, you probably came back a little too far. Just bring your elbows back underneath you. Once you get where you know you're going to be, just stay there. If you were in that half posture, you can switch, or you can try the half posture for a few breaths on each side. It's a huge quadricep stretch, so breathe into those large muscles. Don't force them. Please don't do any bouncing. Just use your breath. Let's bring our hands and elbows back underneath us. If you didn't switch sides, make sure you switch sides. Then we're going to bring our feet forward, coming into staff, Dandasana. So we're creating a danda, or a strong, straight, steady line. And this staff was actually two dandas. You have a danda from your ankle to your hip, and then from your hip through the crown of your head. So we're creating an L shape. We're not just kicking back and hanging out on the beach. We are creating a line of energy. So this energy is prana, from earth to sky. And then this energy laying along the ground is apana. It's a downward flow. So you're feeling those two opposing energies As you begin to develop your practice, you'll begin to tap in where you're really feeling it, not so worried about where your hands are, where your feet are, and all that stuff. But if you don't know where to put your hands, I recommend putting them next to your sitting bones. So that way you have a secondary support for your spine. And it also helps to keep the shoulders open. Bring the chin soft. Breathing into the belly. If you had a strap next to you or a towel, go ahead and get that out. And we're going to make a loop in the strap. So you're going to, if you have a D loop on your strap, you're going to take both those loops. You're going to feed the strap through one of them, through both of them, and then you're going to come back through one to make it tight. And then bring it around the ball of your feet, so around the bony parts of your feet. The buckle's going to be at the middle. And then we're going to take a hold of the strap, but we're going to turn our palms up. So a lot of times we just have a tendency to do this, just reach as far as we can. But what I'd like you to try today is just to bring the palms open and let your elbows remain relaxed. So you're not really struggling and pulling, you're just relaxing. But you're still keeping that energy line. Now we're going to begin to fold forward, coming into Parsvakonasana, seated forward bend. So we're just going to take hand over hand, just walking down. You're going to pull your heart center towards your big toes. And when your hamstrings are like, okay, I'm good, just stop there and breathe. If your legs feel hyperextended, you might want to tuck like a single layer of a blanket behind the backs of your knees, which will help a lot. Or if you remember that tight hamstring club, you could sit on the edge of your blanket and then something behind your knees too, like one block under each knee. Like that. So that's going to really help to relax your hips more. One block under both knees is too much. You can't fit both knees really under one block, so you want to use two. Yeah, there you go. So however you modify your practice, just play around with it so that way when you begin to fold, you begin to relax. And then just let your head relax. Lift a tiny bit. And then fold a little further. If you can reach your hands around the bottoms of your feet, you can just take your palms around the bottoms of your feet, maybe around the sides. If you bring it around the top, it tends to create a rounded shape. So we're still continuing to relax the backs of the elbows down toward the ground. Tiny lift, and then fold. Two more deep breaths in your seated forward bend. Let's turn our head out to the right. Keep your head heavy. Just look over the shoulder and stretch the left side of the neck. And then drop it down and then turn out to the left. Breathe in. And drop it down. Take your hands to the ground and walk up. Back to staff. Breathe in. We're going to take our strap and keep it around our feet. Scoot yourself to the middle of your mat. And we're just going to take our elbows back behind us and roll down. And now we're going to come into legs up the wall. Same posture, still making an L. And just breathe here. Notice if your toes are coming towards your head. So you want your heels to be straight out from the center of your sitting bones. So you're still making the L shape. If you're way out in front of you, it's going to be hard. If you're way out towards your head, it's not going to be very easy either. So you want to look for that place where that balance between the softness and the hardness, the stira and the sukha, that balance where you can just feel the energy grounding down through your body and into the earth. You might feel a little shaking or quivering or shivering here with the legs. And that is simply just that energy releasing off of your body. Breathe here. Some days you're going to have more shaking than others. You've been doing a lot of activity, or maybe your body's requesting more strength and just signaling, okay, yeah, you're doing something that's really good for me. Keep it up. Now, if you're reaching your hands towards your feet, I invite you to keep the tension on your strap or your towel, but let your elbows drop out by your sides. And just breathe. Let's go ahead and bring our knees into our chest and take the strap off to the side. Bring the heels to the ground. So again, center yourself on your mat. Knees are going to face the sky. We're setting up for bridge. Reach our hands toward our heels and then push our head down and kind of tuck the shoulders under. Reach the hands toward the heels and push the arms into the ground. Spread out the fingers. So you're making strong contact with your forearms and your hands and your feet and the back of your head and the backs of your shoulders. Now pull your belly button in and round your lower back until it touches the ground and peel your pubic bone up. Peeling the middle back up. Peeling the upper back up, and then tuck your chin. We're coming back into throat lock. So now wrap your shoulder blades underneath you. You can lock your hands and interlock your fingers here, or you can even take Vira Mudra if you'd like to take that index finger extending out in that line of prana. Spread out the shoulders. Now if you're squeezing your shoulders, try to relax them enough so that way you can melt your energy into the ground. Lift your heart towards your chin. Lift your pubic bone a little higher. Breathe. Breath in, release your hands if they're locked. Roll down, upper back first. Then your mid back. Then the tailbone touches and that little space comes back underneath your low back. And just like a wave, push down with your low back, roll back up. We're going to move into flowing bridge for 5, rolling halfway down, and 4, all the way up into throat lock. Lift, lift, lift as high as you can go, and then rolling down. Tailbone turns under as you roll up, all the way up. Try to play a little game with yourself and let each vertebrae touch the mat, all the way up, rolling up. And then halfway down. And then all the way down. Let's hug our knees into our chest. We're going to make a little figure 8. And we're going to switch. Coming into Apanasana, knees to chest pose, just massaging that low back, maybe side to side. Let's go ahead and come into Happy Baby. Heels to the sky, take your 2 peace fingers. We're going to bring our palms to face each other and hook our 2 peace fingers around the big toe. Take your thumb and lock it over your nails. And then widen your knees so they come outside your body towards your armpits. Drop the knees down. Gently rock. Now if your tailbone is really high off the ground when you're doing this, go ahead and just grab your strap. Take it all the way out in its full length. Bring your feet twice as wide as your hips, and then just take your strap out around the ball of your feet. And this feels really good just to deepen your Happy Baby. And also lets your shoulders relax more since you're not reaching. If you don't have a strap, you can use a towel here. Just gently keep that rocking motion going. Just like a baby, having that happiness. Blissful child, Ananda Balasana. And then bringing the feet together. Move your strap out, and then widen the knees, grab your feet, or use your strap. coming into reclining butterfly. Line up all 10 of your toes. Line up the soles of your feet. Breathe here, holding onto your feet. See if you can make all 10 of your toes and your heels touch, even the sides of your feet like a little book. You can also hold onto your ankles to let your feet make better contact. So you're making that bind or a bada. So this is Supta Baddha Konasana. Reclining butterfly. Let's hug our knees back into our chest. Keep that right knee hugged in. Extend your left all the way down. And extend yourself onto your mat, letting yourself rest. Take your left hand to your knee. Right arm drops out to the side like a T. And then roll your right knee across your body. If you have a prop here, it would be ideal to just set your knee right there on your props. And then let your foot drop out. Relax your foot. Then go ahead and just let go of your knee and let your palms drop open. It's a beautiful spinal twist. Breathe into the sacrum, breathe into the mid-back. And turn your head all the way to complete your spiral, looking out over the right fingertips. So you're going to stack your right knee onto your props. Stack your props on the floor on the outside of your left leg. You can stack up maybe a little higher to give your knee a little bit more support. Close your eyes. So just kind of notice how high you would like your props, and what works for you today. Big breath. And then we'll come back to our center, hugging the knees into the chest. Massage in little circles, and then the other way. And grab your props, move them out on the outside of your right hip. And maybe for a prop that's going to be for your foot. And we're extending the right leg this time. Left knee hugs in. Breathe in. Take your opposite hand to your knee and let your left arm drop out. And exhale into your twist. Draw your knee across your body. And then just setting your leg on your props or the ground. Find a place for your left foot to relax so it's not just dangling in mid-air. And then let your head roll out in the opposite direction. And breathe. Turn your palms open, relax. And exhale back to our center, hugging our knees into our chest. Then go ahead and extend your legs all the way out to your final relaxation. And as you relax, I'm going to play the crystal bowl for you. Let yourself just soften and melt. If you'd like to have anything for your relaxation, go ahead and use any props that you'd like. If you'd like to use essential oils or anything to enhance your practice, feel free to grab those as well before your practice next time. we need to release through this beautiful sound experience, embracing our highest self, our highest good, honoring ourselves through our practice of yoga, honoring each other, seeing that light in ourselves, seeing that light in each other. And within that light, we are one. Feel free to stay in your Shavasana as long as you like, eyes closed. Thank you so much for joining us. Visit us at yogaforlove.com. Namaste.